Good morning, entrepreneurs, and welcome to show number 136, season 7. Today is Friday, February the 13th, 2026. I am your host, Kim White, and I am joined by the lovely icon herself, Kat Corchado. Good morning, Kat.
Good morning, Kim. It's an honor to be sitting in the co-host seat with you today. As
I'm glad that you're
always,
honored.
we always have fun when we do this. You
We
know,
definitely do.
I think when we talk about who should be watching, and of course it's everybody, we include everybody, but I kind of want to speak to those business owners that are just starting. You're in your first year and it's getting can be a little hard. So if you're thinking about starting business or you're really new into business, I think when we talk about what we talk about on this show is understanding what the entrepreneurial journey is really like. And we talk openly about that, the excitement, the fear, the burnout, the breakthroughs, the growth, all of those things. And what we're doing isn't, we're not pretending we have it all together. We are far from, well, maybe Kim does. Kim has it together. Everybody else, we don't. So it's about learning in real time, supporting each other, and telling the truth about what it really takes to own a business. And it's a reminder that entrepreneurship is messy, it's powerful, it's lonely, it's exciting, and absolutely worth talking about together.
Oh, I love all that, Kat.
So we are going to take a really short little ride into entrepreneur land, which is where we live. So let's go over to entrepreneur land real quick.
Welcome to Entrepreneur Land.
I love that flight. It was so short. There were no
Was
bumps. There was no turbulence. The food was excellent.
If you haven't already grabbed your coffee, Entrepreneurland is what is best with your coffee. So grab that this morning. The theme today is conversations. And I want to just put a really bold statement out there. The best marketing is starting real conversations with real people. You're going to hear a lot about conversations throughout the entire show and how to use them for your business. But I think this theme, Kat, is extremely sexy because a lot of people don't keep it simple.
Oh, for sure. And that can apply to almost everything. But we're talking about business right now.
Mhm.
You know, entrepreneurship is built on strategy, but also conversations. And sometimes that conversation is with yourself. And with every conversation, it's a back and forth, even if it is with yourself. I want to do that. No, maybe you shouldn't do that. Well, maybe I want to do that. I do it all the time. And no, I'm not crazy. My mom had me tested. I'm just saying.
I love it.
But successful entrepreneurs listen more than we talk. We pay attention not only to our clients, but to our masterminds. If you're in a group, listening to what other people have to say, understanding what they're saying, and then applying it to your business. Because, the right conversation can change what? Everything.
Well, and I like when you talk about Kat having hard conversations because businesses do grow from hard conversations. So I don't want you to leave that part out of this. That is a very important part
Mhm.
of conversations. Sometimes they're hard because we're a little shy. Sometimes they're hard because we have to have a hard conversation about something. But I think it's exciting to see the conversations that go on in our community. And I'm going to cross over to celebrations. We want to have, witness of the fact that we are moving the needle. We are doing things in our businesses to grow them. And I love the GME Chronicles. It's not a bragging space. It is most definitely a reminder to all of us, including you watching, what's possible. So I would love to go into the chronicles, please.
Thank you, Kim and team. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the GME Chronicles. My name is Jill Olish, and we have some updates for you today on February 11th, 2026. The GME Chronicles is a celebration of moving the needle in our businesses, and we want to share these numbers out loud with you, not to show off, but to show what's possible when we come together. To catch you up, we had 4 classes with Kat in the Fit for Life Alliance community. Yvonne hosted the Age Agitators Club gathering, with bringing together women ready to smash their midlife funk, share stories, cheer each other on, and take bold action to rock their next chapter. My Sexy Business held social media scheduling pop-up, Website Royalty, which is the place to get your Kajabi website questions answered in the My Sexy Business community. They also held rounds 37 and 38, a Fire Up Mastermind, the mastermind for fierce leaders who are ready to serve hard, use irresistible, not creepy marketing, build relational businesses, and truly empower others, as well as Groundwork Brigade Mastermind, the Choose Your Own Adventure Business Mastermind with real-time strategy, tech help, and accountability. Donna posted a new blog, Cooking Up Visibility, one branded set at a time. Kat posted a new blog, Not All Trainers Are Created Equal, How to Choose the Right One for You. Adam posted a new interview with Mariska S. Phillips, and My Sexy Business posted a new blog, How to Make Difficult Decisions at the Crossroads of Business, 3 lessons learned on the entrepreneurial adventure. My Sexy Business went live with Website Royalty Town Hall and show number 135 of Good Morning Entrepreneurs. Be sure to subscribe to the My Sexy Business YouTube channel and never miss an upcoming show or new clips. Check out Bearing It All with Call Me Adam podcast, which pulls back the curtain on entertainment with candid, heart-to-heart conversations. Host Adam Rothenberg sits down with stars from film, television, theater, and music to reveal the real stories behind the spotlight, sometimes sharing things they've never told anyone else. Head to your favorite podcatcher to listen along with these podcasts, Sisters in Service, SEO Day, Buckets and Boom Gates, 5 and 15 Interviews Leadership Series, Bearing It All with Call Me Adam, Late Bloomer Living, Mucked Up My Self-Care, and Mama Outspoken. You can connect with the roving reporters with the GME directory. Head over to mysexybusiness.com/GME, and you can find everyone there. This all brings our number to 20, making the grand total 7,282. Amazing things done collectively by this community in just 4 years and counting. We look forward to more updates coming up next week. If you are ready to join in on the fun around here, you can join us for the Keyword Finders Workshop with Denise Millay on February 17th, and save the date for the 11-Minute Fitness Challenge with Kat Crociato from February 23rd to 27th. And you can always find us in the My Sexy Business community for Website Royalty and Groundwork Brigade, as well as wherever you're watching now for my Good Morning Entrepreneurs. Back to you in the GME studio.
Cheers to the numbers.
I have to explain my cup a little bit, probably, but I have my Texas Longhorn because I'm married to a Texas cowboy. So I'm drinking out of his cup. No one tell him, please. I'm drinking out of his cup this morning because I'll be honest, mine was dirty.
At least you have coffee in yours, Kim. There's nothing in mine but dust. So
I do have my lovely coffee. Well, let's give some shout outs. The numbers are just amazing from the Chronicles, and Jill is doing a great job. Thank you, Jill Olish, for that report. Yes. But tomorrow, and let me go back. This is Love Month around here. We have celebrated the whole month. We're not celebrating just one day. But the official Love Day is tomorrow, February the 14th, 2026 version. And I have to say happy Valentine's Day to everyone, but especially to Kat and Cutie, aka Peter. Their anniversary is tomorrow. So it is an exciting day. And I'll be honest, I have a very cute video of Cat and Cutie that I couldn't even find this morning to play. So we'll be playing it as an after an after effect next week. And I'm so sorry, Cat.
No worries, Kim. I'm disappointed I can't see it, but I'm sure I'll see it eventually at some point. I'm just going to
Yes.
say.
I think this is part of the, reality of this show that we're not hiding these things. We want you to know that messy can be very beautiful whenever it's, showing progress and not intentional. I intentionally had the video ready, but I didn't I don't know where it's at right now. Not sure what happened, but that's on me, Kat. So sorry.
No worries, Kim. I think it's important for people to see us not as perfect, but as we're just trying to make it happen. And even in professional television, you see glitches, you see things happening. Not a lot, but when you see it, you're like, okay, they're real people.
That's
So
right. That's right.
I'm okay with it.
Well, we have one more shout out to give, and that's Crystal Fox's birthday is tomorrow as well. So we
Mhm.
love you, Crystal, and happy birthday.
Happy birthday, indeed.
So, speaking of conversations again, I just want to give a quick little nod to what we were just talking about. When we focus on conversations or even doing something like, this show, and we stop worrying about performing and being perfect, and we start listening and responding, we actually have the ability to make things better. We listen to feedback around here and try to change things and up level things all the time. But I think that is an important nod to our theme of conversations is, are you actually listening? Because we're listening. We are listening.
Absolutely, Kim. I also think that sometimes when you come off as too perfect, like I'm one of those people, if things look too perfect, I kind of want to back away, not because it's perfect, but I think I'm not perfect. So why am I watching this? But when you see someone and they're maybe in a costume or you're listening to them, but you're also watching them at the same time. We have quite a few performers in our little group that we have in some form or fashion. But one person who is absolutely amazing at not only performing, but having conversations is our own Donna Bender. And her segment is about co-branding and how it can drive visibility. So let's see what Donna's not only wearing in her costume, but her conversation with us.
Co-branding is something that I know a lot of people don't know about. And I found that out when I was talking to you. And it is the most amazing thing to get your brand visible by partnering up with a retail brand. And there are many, many, many in my industry where you can have your logo alongside theirs or on the opposite sleeve.
A lot of people buy branded products and they never think about maybe the results of them. And you, my friend, are someone who gets people big results from those branded products.
When it comes to marketing and advertising, promotional products is really, and statistics show, is the number one vehicle that people choose to brand their company. And so if they're keeping it a long time just with your name on it, imagine how many people they're going to show it to when they're co-branding with a retail brand. And then if you have a bag or a tumbler that you're co-branding like Yeti, that is also amazing because there's like over 3,000 impressions from just a tumbler.
That's amazing, Donna. I'm going to make the confession that at the thought of branding with someone like Nike or Yeti, like you were mentioning, I would think I would have to be this enormous corporate person or, owner of this company that's global, or I would think it would have to be somebody really big. And you have taught me, Donna, that you can actually co-brand as a smaller business. Now, small businesses are up to $41 million. That's the definition. But I think that that's an important thing for people to recognize.
And usually when it's an item like that, the minimums are lower. So it's not going to cost you that much more. You don't have to buy 150 of something, at $4. So if it costs a little bit more, maybe you have to buy 25 or maybe you have to buy 50. But those 50 are going to bring in more results than just, willy-nilly, because a lot of times people don't realize that branded products can make them money.
I have to confess, I knew nothing about co-branding when I started my business. But I think again, co-branding has to start with a conversation, and then you get visible in your business. But it's also having the right conversation, hopefully with Donna, and figuring out how to get more eyes on your brand. And branded merch is that way to go, as she likes to say. But Donna's really so good, and you won't know how good she is until you contact her. So please contact her. But she is able to give you this information in short snippets. And how she does that is in her big show and tell is in a snippet. However, it's on YouTube. And her next one is February 24th at 12 p.m. What is it? Mountain time. I almost forgot what the M was. 1 p.m. Central or 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Ooh.
I love it. Well, Kat, let me just say, Donna's the one that facilitated us partnering with Yeti. We actually co-branded some things with Yeti, and I'm still in awe of the fact that we could do that. But she was the one that helped us do that. And she's got a playlist on YouTube. I want to remind everyone of all the big show and tell she's put out there. So you can go and look at past ones where she's sharing stuff. She shares something different every time, but it's amazing. I think the January show was actually the best show she's ever done. Like, she just keeps getting better and better at sharing. So it's amazing.
And I think there's probably other people on there, but Donna's so entertaining. She really is. And, she really, speaking of conversations, when you talk to her, like, I knew nothing. And Donna was able to give me the information I needed, find what I was looking for, and then give me the information required to get the stuff that I needed. So just
I use mine every day that Kat did. I'm just gonna say.
That's from Donna. Yes, it is.
I love it. Well,
Speaking
Kat,
of,
go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. Go ahead, Kim.
No. I just am giggling about entertainment. Sometimes entertainment can be like in a costume, and sometimes it can just be from silly confessions. And I think Denise Millay and I are pretty entertaining when it comes to giggling about I'll say the faux pas of tech sometimes. In our website royalty live stream, we do the town hall every Thursday right here where you're watching. But I have to giggle, Kat. We did the last one, and it was really good because we had a chance to share all the things that went on in our website royalty private group. But we shared the list to the world, basically, so that they could get understanding of they're not the only ones with questions. And if you're having questions about Kajabi in particular, that's our favorite all-in-one platform. We want to make sure everyone's invited to the town hall. Thursdays, 4 p.m. Mountain. I'll see if I can do this. 5 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Eastern. I think Adam gave me the easy button. I'll just say that. So I'm very excited about it. But come and join us. We're silly, but we do share a lot of strategy, and we share a lot of things about how you can do, even if you're not on Kajabi, you can take what we're sharing and apply it.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but SEO applies irregardless of what kind of computer you have. I think it's straight across the board.
It's a great example, Kat. And SEO, really, that's part of Denise's MO. She is the findability queen with SEO, and she shares all kinds of stuff that if you just apply these tiny little things, it starts to change and shift for the people coming and buying from you from online.
Absolutely. And she's just so good at it. without overwhelming you. You ask a question, she breaks it down for me. I'm the ABC 1, 2, 3, and she's able to break it down. I'm like, I got this. I got it.
So we should mention that Adam Rothenberg, who's coming up, Kat, we should mention that he's well over 3 million visitors following Denise's advice. So I'm pretty proud of that for him.
Mm-hmm. And that started with what? A conversation.
It started with a
I'm just
conversation.
putting it out there.
Good job.
We have a lot of podcasters in our group. And in order to be what I consider a great podcaster or a podcast host, you have to be able to ask the questions and have the conversations. So we're going to go to Adam Rothenberg, who's also known as the Interview King, in finding out what you love and working hard with Michelle Clooney.
Thanks, Kim. It's Adam. And for today's Entrepreneurs and Entertainment segment, I wanted to share an excerpt from my 2025 interview with one of my entertainment idols, Michelle Clooney, who you know from playing Melanie Marcus on Showtime's groundbreaking series, Queer as Folk. In this clip, what Michelle had to say about finding what you love and working hard is something I feel all entrepreneurs, business owners, and creators can relate to.
You know, I don't think anyone owes me anything. I never have. I've always worked really hard, and I still like to find ways to work hard. And I think if you find what you love and you work really hard and you come at it from a place of loving the work, then you can ride the waves of life, right? You can ride the ups and downs. So I kind of feel like you get what you give. And when you come at it from that point of view, then you'll always be happy, because if you want to act. You can act in an alley.
And that is today's Entrepreneurs and Entertainment segment. It's back to you in the GME studio.
He sounds like one of those professional announcers.
I know.
Way to go, Adam. I think Adam has these conversations with celebrities that challenges everyone to kind of lean in, because you want to hear what they're saying. And I think when you have these conversations, whether it's a podcast guest, a friend, a coworker, or someone that you're building a business with, conversations create clarity, and every conversation you have teaches you what the other person is looking for, or maybe might spark something in you by having that conversation, and then helps you build your business.
Love it. Well, Adam's entertainment platform that we mentioned before has more than I think it's actually 3.2, but don't quote me on it. It's on his website. He tells always whenever it goes up, but you can go to his website, callmeadam.com, hit interviews, and there are a million of them. That's my term, a bazillion of them. He's done so many interviews with so many people. You'll recognize lots of people on there, but head over there and check out callmeadam.com, because he's got page after page of amazing interviews that you can listen to and feel part of the conversation.
I think you really want to, when he's having these conversations, when someone in your house is like, hey, mom, or hey, and you're like, give me 5 minutes. Give me get the hand up, because you have to listen to it, because it's just it's entertaining. It's interesting. I learned stuff that I didn't know about some of these entertainers that I've seen on TV myself. So great job, Adam.
Speaking of big names and icons, I'm going to say our next roving reporter falls into that category, and that is you, Kat Corchado. Kat is a movement specialist. She is going to be sharing how we entrepreneurs can do some things that will alleviate some of the pain from sitting on our bottoms at the computer so much. I'll just say that. But let's head over to Kat's segment.
Thanks, Kim. Hi, everyone. Here is one more stretch for you to do while you're sitting at your desk. If you're in a meeting and you feel like you really need to stretch, here's what you can do. So I want you to take both hands behind your head and just let your elbows go where they want. You're going to round your spine, and now lift the spine. Sit as tall as you can, pushing your head back into your hands, not letting your chin go up. Now open the elbows and hold. Do you feel how nice that stretch is? And release. Do that about 3 or 4 times and feel how everything just resets to here. I hope that helps you. So until next time, back to you in the GME studio.
It always helps, Kat. Let me just say that. It always helps. The green room is so fun because they do the stretches and we get to like giggle because, sometimes stretches are not the most attractive looking things, I'm just going to say. But, Kat, you have helped all of us become more healthy and be able to shake off some of the sitting we do because we do sit a lot at these computers and devices. But I want to make sure everyone knows that not Monday coming up, but the next Monday, Kat has an 11-minute challenge coming up. The challenge is amazing. I've attended multiples of her challenges. She is so on point with helping people, keep it moving. We sometimes what is that? Okay, so I'm going to tell on myself. What is the thing about, something in motion stays in motion?
Mm-hmm.
I think of that. I think that when we're sitting so much, we don't desire sometimes to get up and move because we think it won't make a difference. But I think you've proven us, to be wrong about that. So in only 11 minutes a night, Kat has changed our world with this challenge. So if you want to participate, Kat's got an amazing community called Fit for Life Alliance, where it's a free community you can go into and go with this challenge with her. So it is at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 Central, 4:30 Mountain. If I've got that wrong, y'all please correct me.
That's so good, Kim.
Thank you. But the Kat is so good about answering questions and figuring out how to do modifications because not everybody comes in with the same, activity level or the same thing that they can do. So, Kat, this is a very exciting time. Go and sign up for Kat's challenge. You'll get notification. You'll get to come and be with Kat in person. It's online. So, but you get to know Kat and her laugh and her giggle love your laugh, Kat.
Well, can I just add that, when you're starting a fitness routine, any fitness routine, you don't want to make a list. You want to make a plan, the what, when, where, how, and your why. I'm going to take care of the first 4 for you if you come to this challenge. And the challenge isn't about the exercise because they're simple, coupled with a little bit of cardio that's simple. The challenge is you challenging yourself, you betting on you to show up. And then we're just going to have some fun from there. So I hope to see you.
See you there.
Well, coming up, we have conversations with this person, our own findability queen, Denise Millay. We have conversations with her all the time. And about SEO, because there isn't a one and done. There's why, how come this and why can't I do it this way? And she has all of those answers. So we're going to go to her segment, Denise Millay, our very own, yes, she belongs to us, findability queen on how can SEO increase web traffic.
How can SEO increase web traffic?
So SEO gives you many different touch points for people to interact with things that you create, whether it's a video or an image or an audio or podcast blog. So you have a lot of entries in the search engine. Every one of those is an opportunity to go back to your website, as opposed to just traditionally before we had the yellow pages equivalent. It says, here's a website, go see this, whatever. So now you can get 100+ entries in search engine matching all these different things on topics. So you have just a lot more opportunity for people to visit you.
sorry. The green one was like, read the chat. And I was like, oh, yeah. Sorry, Adam. And there you have it, folks. That's where we're at right now.
Denise does such a good job with all of the things, all things SEO, we're going to call it, that I don't want to miss the opportunity to share her podcast.
Absolutely.
You can go and listen to SEO Day podcast. She says, make Tuesdays your SEO day, which I love. Look, there you go. There's her mug to remind us. But she answers 5 questions on each one. So the podcast episodes are actually short, but she gives real practical advice answering those questions so that you can implement something every week. And it's not about implementing everything all at one time. It's about putting those little things in your processes so that you increase it, quickly, but over time you continue. So I appreciate Denise doing all of the things she does on the podcast. It is an award-winning podcast. I want to say that too. Yes, she got new podcast of the year. That's a big deal, but it's very good.
I like to think of what Denise does as pieces of a puzzle, because you don't just dump all the things out and you put one piece on and they all just connect to each other. I think SEO is a piece of the puzzle, and then you add another piece through Denise, of course, because I don't know all this stuff, but she absolutely does.
Well, I want to give a quick shout out and a quick way to let everyone know Denise is in the My Sexy Business community, just like you and I are, Kat. Like the whole podcast crew here, the whole production team, you can come into that community for free. So right now we have the red bar at the top of our website, mysexybusiness.com. You can hit that bar at the top, and it goes directly for more information about our community. I think going to a community can be scary sometimes, and I want to make sure everybody knows that you're seeing the people that are going to be in this community. So we are friendly. We'll have conversations. We live by that. But I also want to say that it's super easy to join. Click the buttons on this page as it's being scrolled down. And at the bottom of this page are the guidelines. So you know whether you actually want to join or not. I think that's an important piece. So red bar at the top of the website takes you to this page, and you would not regret joining us.
Kim, can I just add that in this community, I love how we learn from each other.
Yeah.
And we help each other because we want to see each other succeed in our business. So I love that.
Talking to people about what you do is the fastest way to feel more confident in your business, because I think that's one of the things we need desperately is confidence.
Yes.
So speaking of, you're tuning in to Good Morning Entrepreneurs, show number 136. Today's theme is conversations. And if you want to connect with any of the roving reporters, we tried to make this super simple and change it up a little bit. We've got a QR code. You can go straight to the directory where everyone is. So go there, connect with everyone, and we're very excited that we can share it this way. So you can go the old school way still, mysexybusiness.com, go to GME and go, through that process. But we tried to make it the easy button with the QR code. So there's that, Kat.
That's very bougie, Kim. I like it.
I'm thinking we're getting bougie around here.
I know. It's kind of cute. I like it. Well, I know as entrepreneurs, if you are an entrepreneur thinking about it, you're going to have questions. And when you have your questions, you have conversations. So we have people who will write into the show and ask questions. So our question of the week is, how do I make time for conversations when my business is so busy? Ooh, this is juicy.
This is a juicy conversation, because I will say this, without having some of those conversations, you actually won't have a business. You might be busy doing the minutia stuff.
Mhm.
You don't learn to, major on the major things, which is the people you are connected to and the conversations you're having with them. You'll major on the minors, which might cost you your business.
Mhm.
So I think this is a great thing to put in your calendar. Find a way to have conversations, even if it's one conversation a day for 5
Mhm.
minutes. It doesn't have to be long conversations, but listen to what someone is telling you, and it may change everything in your business because you're hearing what people are asking for.
Absolutely. I always hear from entrepreneurs that, they seem to have their business going, but when it comes to networking or talking to other people, they're like, oh, I can't, and they move away. And I think that you still need to interact with people, whether it's online or person to person conversations. But when you go into a networking event, just tell yourself, I'm going to speak and have a conversation with 2 or 3 people. That's it.
Mhm.
And kind of get your, get some mud on your shoes, your brand new shoes, and so the next time it feels a little bit better, and it feels a little bit better. I like to talk, so I have no problems there, as you can tell. I'm just putting that out there.
I love it.
So also in our little community here with all of our roving reporters, we have someone in our midst who talks about play. Now, when we talk about play, you think about kids, but we as adults need to play, especially if you're an entrepreneur. And play can be 5 minutes of dancing. It could be whatever it is you want to be, for that to be. So we're going to go to Yvonne Marchese, our very own age agitator, who motivates us all to play. Motivation comes from action.
Thanks, Kim. This is Yvonne Marchese coming to you as a roving reporter for Good Morning Entrepreneurs. I'm your resident age agitator, here to talk about later in life entrepreneurship. Let's talk about motivation. It's February, and February is notorious for that stuck in neutral feeling when you may be beating yourself up because you've lost the motivation that you had at the beginning of the year. Here's what I've learned from later in life entrepreneurs. Motivation doesn't come from inspiration, it comes from action. So instead of asking, how do I get motivated? Try asking, what would make me feel like I made a little bit of progress at the end of today? Then set a timer for 10 minutes and just start. If you want to keep going at the end of the 10 minutes, great. And if not, at least you took 10 minutes towards what you want. And that adds up. If you need to, take a walk to think about it. Shake things up a little bit. Research an idea that you're curious about. That counts. Momentum doesn't come from pressure. It comes from movement, especially when that movement feels light. So if your motivation feels low, don't beat yourself up. Try smaller steps and some curiosity. That's all for now. Back to you in the GME studio.
So good.
What she's saying can apply to anything. And I think that what Yvonne is saying is a reminder that motivation doesn't come from waiting, it comes from doing.
Mhm.
I'll just land my plane right there.
I love it. Well, her podcast is one of my favorites. It's Late Bloomer Living podcast. She has conversations with so many people. I think she's almost to 260 episodes. So she's had a lot of conversations over the last few years with other, I'm just going to call it age agitators, with other people who are, she is a play instigator, she calls herself. And I agree. She instigates a lot. And these conversations are amazing on her podcast. It's a binge worthy podcast.
Absolutely. She has some amazing guests on there.
Any podcatcher you're listening to, you will find Yvonne there. Speaking of someone we'll find everywhere on the podcatchers, the next segment is sponsored by Sisters in Service podcast, and Kat Corchado is the host of that. We're excited to have this segment as a weekly segment on GME, and that is Military Minute. I almost called it the wrong thing. Military Minute. When you're thinking of podcasting, and you also are the founder of Small Space Pilates, which is a community for health and wellness, how do those two mix? Like, explain to me how those go together.
Oh, they go together. They're kind of like not identical twins, but what do you call them when they're twins, but they look different? What do they call those?
Don't get me lying, Pat. I don't know. I know what you're talking about, but I don't know.
So in podcasting, we sit a lot, but then movement helps you to counteract all the things that happen to your body while you're sitting. So you're sitting, everything's getting crunched down. You start to roll your shoulders forward, and you see me shrinking. And then I try to get up, and my body goes, "Oh, no. What do you think you're doing?" So movement, I understand from sitting, I have to move, whether it's stretching, whether it's just walking to the mailbox, whether it's, doing some quick workout, maybe a 11-minute walk up and down the hallways of my condo. They work together, but you have to initiate it. It's not just going to happen on its own. When I've been sitting here after we've been talking, Kim will be like, I got to get up because my bottom, hello, is saying, excuse me, hello, are we moving here soon? Got to go. Let's go. Excuse me. Are we working out soon? So I'm one of those people that I can't sit for 4, 5, 6 hours and not get up. I cannot do it. My body won't allow me to do it. And I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for that.
Such a good conversation.
I forget about these and I'm like, oh, wow, that was really good. And speaking of you're having these conversations, whether it's with a client, whether it's with, a guest that you're speaking to, but a lot of times movement is about that conversation with your body. That fight between your body goes, get up, and your brain goes, I can't. Get up, I can't. So you have to be able to listen to your body and respond accordingly.
I love it. Well, Kat, I'm going to quote you that podcasting is a conversation and exercise is a conversation. I think that that's a very powerful way to look at both.
It is. And, we just put ... right after that, because more to come later.
That's right.
And with our theme being conversation, the one thing that I found when becoming a mom was that there was no one to have a conversation with. I had to learn it all on my own. And our next roving reporter is Jill Ola. She's the founder of Mama Outspoken. And her segment is about how do you write a book when you're exhausted from motherhood? And I need to see what she says about this.
Thanks, Kim. When I first wrote my book, I didn't know that I was going to write my book. So I wrote down on pretty much scrap paper the start of what I wanted to share with others. And I didn't think I'd be able to do more than that because of how much time was wrapped up in being a mom and an entrepreneur. How can you write anything when you're just so exhausted like that? And I didn't wait for the quiet moments that I had alone. I didn't wait for the perfect energy in order to think of what I wanted to write, how I wanted to write it, and if it made sense. I just brought a journal with me pretty much wherever I went for almost a year. Or I used my phone and spoke into it when I didn't have the ability to have a moment with free hands because I had a toddler. Voice memos became a very handy thing for me to use to transcribe later on into my journal. But I got lucky and I got some hours alone sometimes, but more than not, it was journaling before bed or while we were sitting outside doing some self-care. And it really didn't need to be a perfect setting for me to get writing. So if you were considering writing a book, don't wait for the perfect time, because writing your story is not about getting it perfect when you first start writing it down. It just needs you to write it down. So back to you in the GME studio.
Where was she when I had my child? That's what I want to know.
Unfortunately, Kat, she wasn't born when either one of us was.
Oh, that's sad. Wait.
Just saying.
So true. Still sad though.
Well, and I want to just point out, you don't have to have perfect words, like Jill was saying. You just need a willingness to ask and listen and respond. And her book, her podcast, everything that she does is her willingness to be vulnerable. And I think her podcast, Mama Outspoken, is such a powerful example. It's with her and her husband, Bobby. They talk about real topics and real things from the book that, you know, they're both in the Mama Outspoken book. But they have those conversations that I think a lot of times, you know, some of us older moms have missed out on, that they're opening that conversation with others. They're allowing conversation to happen that maybe you and I missed out on, Kat.
Unfortunately, but I think that, you know, even today, a lot of moms want to have the conversation, but they're not sure who to have the conversation with and get answers. Because a lot of times it's like, oh, it's going to be fine. You'll get over it. It'll go away. And you need to speak to someone like Jill about what that feels like and what that looks like.
I will call her the no judgy girl.
The no
She,
judgy
you know,
girl.
the no judgy mom. A lot of moms can be so judgy, and she is willing to have conversations. So I think that's very important. All the podcatchers, Mama Outspoken podcast, go follow the show and hear the real conversations. So speaking of real conversations, Kat, I'm just going to say we actually have real conversations every Thursday. Denise Millay and I host the website Royalty Town Halls, where we have real conversations about the questions we're being asked in the private group of Website Royalty. We would love to invite everyone to come to the live stream. It is Thursdays at 4 Mountain, 5 Central, 6 Eastern. Look at that. I can get faster when I can read it.
I thought that was off the top of your head. I was like, you're good.
Nope. The cheater version is right there on the screen for me. Thank you, Adam. So come and join us, because we are very excited to be sharing how-tos. Like, we are literally going in and busting down some, I think, myths of things and helping people succeed in their business with their websites and making sales. So I think that's an important part.
I think another important part is all the language that we have as entrepreneurs, or even just in person, you know, in our own little community. And so we're going to go off to Princess Speak, which is sponsored by the My Sexy Business team and community. And it's this simple business language that we use as entrepreneurs and business owners on the daily.
Well, I believe that the more conversations you have, the less scary putting yourself out there feels. So I want to say that this week's Princess Speak phrase is, are you listening like a teenager? Because I don't know if you all remember having teenagers, or if you've had teenagers, a lot of times they're like, yeah. They don't want to hear what you're saying. They're too busy doing something else. And in business and in life, if we are too busy on the wrong things and we're not listening, we can be listening like a teenager and causing harm not only to that person for not being heard, but also to our business. People don't want to do business with someone who's not understanding and listening to them. So I think this is a great princess speak. My words today, y'all. Princess speak phrase, simply because it is a reality check for us. Are you listening like a teenager?
I agree with what you're saying, Kim, because I was guilty of this, and not on purpose, because sometimes you don't realize you're doing it. But you're talking and you're like, you can't wait to get it out of your mouth before you forget the thought. And I had to pull back and really just focus on what the person was speaking instead of just hearing and then going, okay, my turn, and then I get to speak. So I think even now I have to pull back. So my husband catches me every time. He goes, did you hear me? Or he'll say something off kilter. And I'm like, what? And he goes, oh, you are listening to me. I'm like, what? That's so mean.
I love it, Kat.
I love that, Kat. I also think that listening and really drawing yourself in helps you make sure that you're presenting on the other side something someone can listen to. So by being attentive to what they're actually talking about, then you, as you're thinking ahead, which we all do, it's a curse. You can think a little bit more about not just fire hosing somebody and giving them everything you know, when you can actually make it an exchange where you're sharing what they're interested in because you've listened to them. So two-way.
I'm still a few years away from having my own teenager, but I was a teenager once, and I know I was all knowed up when I was a teenager, and that's another princess word. But we can get like that when someone else is trying to give us their experience because they've been through the fire before. And I think that that's something that I started out with. Like, sure, but you're at this point, you didn't go through this. Like, I'm going through this. And as teenagers, I know I was like, you don't know what I'm going through. Not realizing that, my mom and dad probably went through a lot different things. And what I'm comparing it to is nothing. So in business, when we're learning from someone else, we can really underestimate what information we're gaining from others who have been through it, and we don't want to think that they did.
I love the concept, Jill, of underestimating the power of listening. That is like brilliant.
Well, I'm not a parent, so I don't have a teenager, nor will I have it, nor am I planning on adopting a teenager. So I don't have that parenting side to have the experience from. But, and I'm sure my parents can vouch for this, but even as a 50-year-old, sometimes when they're talking to me and trying to tell me some kind of advice or something, I just sit there and go, uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh. And my mom will sometimes say, are you uh-huhing that you understand? Or is it uh-huhing you're just listening and you're not going to do what, any of the advice that we're sharing. And so I don't know, some people, I guess like me, never really maybe grow out of listening like a teenager, because I did that probably as a teenager as well. But sometimes you're just not in the space where you're ready to hear what somebody has to say. And that's where I also think listening like a teenager comes in, because maybe you just need some more time to think things through, or you need more experience. So I always appreciate the advice my parents are giving. I may not always be in the space where I want to hear it. So that is probably why I'm always going, uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh.
Well, let me just tell you about research and development, because Adam, you bring up a really great point about adults. And that is, when you're learning your business, sometimes it feels kind of scary for you learning. But then you also are listening to someone who maybe they're giving you feedback. Maybe they're giving you advice. Maybe they're giving you like stuff you don't want. Like there's a whole variety of things. But the best research and development, best R&D you can have is listening to what someone is asking for. I cannot tell you how many businesses have started from hearing a lack of something that was in the marketplace. So someone is saying, oh, I need help with this. I need help with this. And you're hearing this all around you. That may be the very business you can start if you know the answer to that. So R&D for starting a business, R&D from listening to your clients and what they need, or maybe what they need next, because you're providing a solution is your business, but maybe you need to know what the next thing they need is. If you're listening like a teenager, you're not hearing all that. You're just giving them what you want them to have, and that's not good business. I'm just going to tell you. I would like to actually share something, and we're going to try to incorporate this into Good Morning Entrepreneurs, but I'd like to give you all some conversation starters. I think that this is an important piece because we talk about these things on here, and then we're not really giving enough action steps, I think. So we're going to try to up-level our game here. I'm just going to say that. But some simple conversation starters that you can do today is ask, what are you working on right now that feels hard? And then guess what, y'all? Listen. Do the next part, the listening. You can ask the question, but listen to what they say. You're going to learn more by doing that than talking at someone. I also think another great conversation starter is when you share a tiny win or story and invite them to share theirs. So I'll give a little parameter for this. I think when you're sharing a story with someone, it needs to be to help them, not just so you're like saying something. I think when you think about what they need and you're sharing how you struggled with that as well. Denise and I do that on Website Royalty. We talk about the struggles we had. It's why we understand how hard things can be. So I think that that's an important part too. Make sure you're sharing the right kind of story with them and ask them to share where they're at. And I think the last conversation starter I want to throw out there is follow up with people you've already talked to. So as a conversation, you think of something you've already talked to someone about and go back to them and finish the conversation instead of always chasing new ones. Because I think sometimes we network and we don't follow up. We have a conversation with someone, we think about them, and then we don't follow up. And I think that's a very big mistake for all of us business owners. So, Sweetwater, we hope you are taking away something today for conversations and that you'll go and start some conversations today. Don't forget, you can start them with us. Be sure to follow the channel. Be sure and come back next week for Good Morning Entrepreneurs, and we love y'all.
Join us next Friday at 7 a.m. Central. This is the team signing off for Good Morning Entrepreneurs.